Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive, he's due a massive performance. And I think Canelo's made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring.
Terence Crawford wrapped up his final day of training camp before the big fight with Canelo Alvarez. Turkey Alashik also joined him at the camp, showing strong support for Crawford. Terence expressed gratitude toward Turkey for being there and helping him on this journey. Despite the tough preparations, he reminded everyone that the job is not finished yet and carried himself with confidence that he would come out victorious in the ring.
Hey, I appreciate you. Everything that you done for me. You and Riyadh said you must
the job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
The job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
But listen,
Saturday, deliver the job.
but listen, I appreciate the opportunity.
No retirement.
Let's get it. Yeah.
Terence Crawford's final stretch of preparation has been marked by relentless effort and determination as he pushes himself for the biggest fight of his career against Canelo Alvarez. In his training camp, Crawford has been sparring intensely, sharpening his reflexes and perfecting his defensive strategies while ensuring his offensive output remains crisp and powerful. His coaches and team emphasize the discipline and focus he has maintained. Portray him as a fighter who has left no stone unturned in camp. The video footage shows him working tirelessly, his body lean and conditioned, ready to step into the ring with full confidence. Crawford's determination shines through his words as he confidently declares that victory is within his grasp, even though the challenge will not be easy. His interviews and training footage reveal a man who thrives on pressure.
Está como dicen muchos, está cabrón. Está preparado, está listo, a pesar de venir de una categoría muy abajo, subir a la 168, pues yo te digo, los sparring con él, tanto lo he ayudado como he sentido que él me ha ayudado también a mí. Entonces, anteriormente estaba enfocado en ayudarlo, pero luego que me dijeron que yo iba a pelear, ¿sabes qué? Necesito ayudarte, pero que me ayudes. Y ya en el ring nos entendemos, yo casi no hablo inglés. Todavía voy practicándolo, pero en el ring nos entendemos muy bien. Y hay una buena vibra, pero él está listo. Y yo también estoy listo.
El tema del peso, ¿cómo crees lo afectará en la noche de la pelea haciendo sparring con él?
¿Cómo?
Haciendo sparring con Terence, la gente habla, pues el Canelo es muy grande, sí. 2 categorías.
Bueno, en realidad en tamaño creo que están iguales, pero en diferencia de peso, sí, a lo mejor Canelo está más acostumbrado a esa categoría que Terence, pero te digo, vengo haciendo sparring con él desde que estaba en las 147 libras, mi primer sparring con él en las 147, yo era ya 168, sigo siendo 168, y lo único que hizo ahora pues es subir de peso, aumentar de peso, y sí se siente muy diferente haber hecho sparring con él en 147 y ahora hacer sparring con él en 168. Pero yo creo que...
¿Cómo se siente diferente?
En el sentido que le he sentido más pegada, más explosivo, la rapidez, el snap lo tiene todavía, el cabrón no lo ha perdido, lo he sentido, pero creo que la nutrición que lleva...
Understanding the magnitude of facing a champion like Canelo, but never doubting his own abilities. His statements reflect a fighter who not only trains for physical readiness, but also conditions his mind to remain unshaken. He assures fans that no matter how tough the fight becomes, his strategy, discipline, and self-belief will guide him to success. Unlike many fighters who sometimes overtrain in pursuit of perfection, Crawford has been wise in his approach. He openly shares that he doesn't want to push his body beyond its limits, preferring instead to give his best within structured training sessions.
When you look, since he's been off the mad cow meat, right? You look at his last 5 fights. He's boxed ordinary fighters, you know. And they're not in the same league. They're really not in the same league. And I think to myself, his last 5 fights, even what's that kid's name? Hamza Shiraz, right? So he boxed in his last fight. He knocked out, what's the kid's name?
Belanga.
Right, he knocked out Belanga. Belanga took your man there. He took him the distance. Now, you've only got to balance it up. If Belanga can take him the distance, you got to say to yourself, what is Terence Crawford going to do to sorry, call him Cotto, to
Canelo, yeah.
Canelo, sorry, to Canelo Cotto. I've got the names mixed up. Yeah, right. So what's he going to do to you know what? I look at the fight and I think to myself, I really like Terence Crawford, right? Because of his switch hitting style. Now, Terence Crawford is due a massive, he's due a massive performance. And I don't think Canelo is made for him. Canelo doesn't fight with any urgency anymore. You don't get any head movement from him anymore. He doesn't show you a punch and hit you with another one anymore. There's no variety in his whole sort of makeup. And I look at him and I think to myself, Canelo's become, just in my opinion, I think he's become a little bit pedestrian in as much as goes in straight lines, comes out in straight lines. There's no urgency.
This shows his maturity as an athlete who understands the importance of recovery and balance. He emphasizes that his intense effort in camp is enough preparation and that additional strain could cause fatigue or injury before fight night. Lester Martinez, Crawford's chief sparring partner, has given chilling warnings about what Canelo is about to face. Having spent countless hours in the ring with Terence during camp, Martinez confidently states that Crawford's power is something even Canelo will struggle to deal with.
Everybody, it seems like, that says muscles don't win fights usually have ridiculous muscle mass. Like Devin Haney was like, muscles don't win. And Devin's like way bigger than everybody else at 135 pounds and jacked to the gills. That's that snack shit. Okay, we're not doing that. But Terence Crawford also on that snack shit. Anyway, Bud Crawford did just drop a body transformation pic. Let's take a look at it. Boom! Son, I'm sorry, I have a flat tire. Does anyone have a jack to help me out? Oh, thank you, Bud Crawford. You're actually huge. The man has abs on his abs on his abs. I'm not trying to glaze, but that doesn't look like a 147 pounder. It doesn't look like a 154 pounder. That looks like a grown man. He's definitely put some weight on, coming to 168 pounds. And I can tell you that now. Take what I'm about to show you with a grain of salt because it is on weigh-in day, but look at what he was at 140 pounds. Now, again, he's out of camp, hasn't made the weight cut yet, but that's him right now. But, I mean, that is crazy. Couple of things. Yes, muscles don't win you fights, and the biggest question we have to ask now is, how will this newfound muscle mass affect Bud Crawford in the fight? Because one of the things I have said continuously about this fight is that the weight issue has been completely overblown by people. And what I mean is, there is not a massive weight disparity between these two fighters. What Canelo walks around at and what Terence Crawford walks around at is probably similar, and maybe Terence Crawford even weighs a little more. I don't know. I saw the picture of the scale of him at 186. It may be a little less when he's normally not trying to gain weight, but that's not the point of the weight difference. The point of saying there is a weight difference is that Canelo Alvarez has consistently fought and been successful at 160 to 1.
He insists that despite people believing Canelo is the naturally bigger man, Crawford feels just as big and strong in the ring. According to Martinez, the intensity of Terrence's punches has left him convinced that a beast is coming for Canelo. These statements add weight to Crawford's preparations, as sparring partners often provide the most accurate perspective on a fighter's true form in camp. Former champion Duke McKenzie has boldly predicted that Crawford is tailor-made to dismantle Canelo Alvarez. In his analysis, McKenzie argues that many of the fighters Canelo faced in recent years were not truly elite.
On the first part, return the favor. But Turkey, in a second thought, said, no, I'm going to deliver this message. He goes back to Bud, and he says, and don't retire after this. Don't retire.
No retirement. Let's get it, yeah.
That's what Turkey meant when he was trying to say, return the favor.
I said, you must return it, yeah.
I did this for you. You got this big fight. Yeah, the job ain't done. Deliver the job. But don't retire. Return the favor. That is the most important part, and we're going to break that down. The deliver the job thing, That is more of a language difference, okay? Because Bud is saying, listen, the job ain't done. He said, oh yeah, deliver the job Saturday. Mostly meaning put on a good fight. Fight your heart out. If you win, cool. That'll be best if you win. But I'm just saying it's not about winning. Winning is about trying. Winning is about going for greatness. Marvelous Marvin Hagler wasn't undefeated. Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Muhammad Ali, Sam Langford, Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, some of these Gene Tunney, some of the greatest fighters of all time, Willie Pep, Sammy Sadler. These guys weren't undefeated, right? But that's what made them great, is that they were taking on all challenges. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh knows that the product isn't the fighter. The product is the sport. So he's trying to put on the best matches, which is why he's saying, don't retire, return the favor.
Suggesting that Crawford presents a unique challenge unlike any before. His view is that Terence's versatility, ability to adapt mid-fight, and natural ring IQ make him perfectly suited to expose Canelo's flaws. McKenzie points out that while Canelo has been successful against a wide variety of opponents, he has not faced someone with Crawford's level of skill, timing, and precision. One of the biggest concerns leading into this fight has been the weight disparity, with critics arguing that Crawford moving up to face Canelo would leave him undazed. However,
he wasn't even competed in that division. So, yeah, I can't think of anybody. And to think that Crawford, started out at 135. I mean, the last guy I can think of doing that would have been Duran, but I think Duran went up and won the title at middleweight, and he didn't do it all in one fell swoop. It was one weight category after another. Leonard at 35, Davey Moore at 54, then Iran Barkley at 60. I mean, it just kept moving up, but I don't know of anybody that's gone from 35 up to 168 and basically leapfrog the division. So from champion at 147, one fight at 154, and then leapfrogs over an entire section of top 10 contenders at 168 pounds, never having fought at 168. Oh, leapfrogs 160, over into the contenders at 168, right into a title shot. I can't think of anybody that's done that. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. Tommy, over the last couple of years, I think Canelo's come to rely on his power. Do you think that'll be enough against Crawford's ring IQ and his combinations and footwork?
I can't think of any fighter where punching power alone is enough. So, Canelo has come around with two things, punching power and defense. He's still very, very difficult to hit, which allows him to load up on shots and get into the range that he wants to get into, where he can fire away with hard punching power, not setting them up as much as he used to in the past, not having that, that same work rate that he used to have. But if he's just thinking of going out there looking for...
Recent footage from training has silenced much of that skepticism. Crawford's figure appears larger, stronger, and more conditioned than ever before, leading many analysts to change their predictions in his favor. Observers note that the weight issue seems irrelevant now, as Crawford's ability to bulk up while retaining his speed and precision has stunned those who doubted him. This has even shifted some experts to predict not just a Crawford victory, but a possible knockout. The transformation in his physical presence has forced the boxing world to reconsider whether the supposed size advantage Canelo holds will even exist once they step into the ring.
Now, when he fought Israel Madrimov, that was at the 154-pound weight limit. But when Crawford actually got into the ring on fight night, he was actually the heavier of the two men, clocking in at 169.8 pounds. We'll call it 170 just for the ease of the video. But 170 pounds at 154, that's a very, very solid rehydration. That is a very good weight for a 154-pound fighter. And our man Canelo Alvarez gives us evidence and testament to this. I've gone back through the years to have a look at what Canelo weighed in the ring when he fought 154 pounds to give us context as to the size difference. And don't get me wrong, Canelo will be bigger now than he was back then, but Crawford will be too. Crawford will also put that extra size on. And whilst he's not experienced fighting with the extra weight, it will give us some kind of understanding of how much of an issue it might be. We'll take everything into account, but just to begin with, how big is the size difference? Well, going back and look at some of these fights, we'll start with the Floyd Mayweather fight. So that was at 152-pound catch weight. And I said in my tactical video that Canelo was dehydrated for that one, that he wasn't at his maximum capability. Now, I still stand by that assessment because he was so green in his career and because I feel his best performances have come at higher weight classes, and especially where he's not been having to cut lots of weight. But just for context in that one, he was 165 pounds in the ring versus Floyd that night. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather weighed 150.5 pounds, so there was actually a 14.5 pound weight difference that night. So you start to understand where I'm going with this in this video. I want to look at the context of where there's been weight gaps before. So someone who was 14.5 pounds lighter than Canelo was able to beat him on that night. Now look, Mayweather is an all-time great. Mayweather was unbelievably skilled and had soldiers tied up in knots. He couldn't do anything with him. But let's look at some other fights for some more context. When he fought Austin Trout, they were around about the same when they got in the ring. When they fought at 154 pounds, Canelo was 172 and Trout was 171. And that's really interesting to look at because that tells us that Canelo was only a couple of pounds heavier than Crawford when rehydrated when he fought at 154 pounds.
Controversy arose when analyst Showbiz the Adult speculated about the possibility of the fight being fixed after observing Turki Alshik's involvement in Crawford's camp. In footage, Turki is heard telling Terence not to retire after the Canelo bout, which Show the Adult interprets as a potential code for returning the favor. The claim suggests that since Turki played a role in making the fight happen, he might expect something in return from Crawford. While this theory is largely speculative, it has sparked debate among fans and analysts alike, questioning whether outside influences could affect the integrity of such a high-profile matchup.